All right, so we're back. I'm gonna invite our guests again. This is saying discussion. I want as many people to hear about the conversation so that um, we know their perspective in uh, taking their transitional doctor of physical therapy from different universities. Okay. So that we're on the same page, ano nga ba ang transitional doctor of physical therapy and or post-professional DPT? So this is from the American Physical Therapy Association, or the APTA. So I'm just going to read this verbatim. The post-professional DPT degree is conferred upon the completion of structured post-professional educational experiences that results in the augmentation of knowledge and skills and behaviors to a level consistent with current professional entry-level DPT standards. The post-professional DPT degree enables the U.S. licensed physical therapist to attain a degree parity with the PTs who hold the professional DPT by filling in any gaps between the professional baccalaureate or master's degree PT education and current professional DPT program. So the DPT, the tDPT or transitional DPT or post professional DPT, um, is we call this is was made because wala nang, as far as I know, wala nang doctor of physical therapy, wala nang bachelor's or master's na physical therapy degree here in the US. So everyone graduating, I think after 2015, would get the degree of doctor of physical therapy. So they made the transitional DPT to augment that gap dun sa mga graduates, dun sa mga licensed professionals. So ano yung pinagkaiba ng DPT from sa PhD? So a DPT is a clinical or professional doctorate, similar to dito sa US setting, similar to medicine MD, similar to dentistry who has DDS, similar to clinical psychology Psych D or optometry. So yun yung levels ng DPT dito sa US. Um, PhD naman is an academic degree. Okay? So it's advanced knowledge in a particular field for scholarly work. So magkaiba yung professional doctorate, which is like yung DPT natin, from a PhD, which is an academic degree. Meron pang advanced clinical doctorate. Meron pang i-advance yung clinical doctorate natin kung gusto pa natin mag-take ng Doctor of Physical Therapy Science or Doctor of Science in Physical Therapy. Yun yung mas mataas pa sa DPT. But that's kung gusto nyo pang mag further studies. Okay, hindi ko na patatagalin kasi kanina pa tayo. Nag-live na ba? Naiinis naman ako, parang hindi naman lumalabas. Okay, lumabas na sa Facebook. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Ayaw kasi lumabas sa sa web sa sa page ko. All right. So let me introduce my guests. Unahin na natin, not new to the show, has been a guest sa ibang episodes natin, is Charmaine Geronimo, PTRP, PP.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, welcome, Char.
Thanks
Welcome
again
back.
for having me here.
Ayun, you're always welcome. And thank you for saying yes to the invite at short notice. And thank you for making time for this. All right, my next guest, a recent graduate sa batch ko sa University of Montana, Dizel Soriano, PTRP, DPT. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Sir Johan. Hi, Since you're going
Hi.
to help as one of the guest speakers.
Ayun. Ma'am Lizelle, can you increase your volume siguro para mahina yung reception?
How about that, sir? Okay na.
Ayan, better. Okay. All right. And last but not the least, J. Enriquez, PTRP, PT, DPT, and DMS. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, sir. Hi. Hello. Hello, Charm. Hello, Ma'am Liz.
Ayun. So, tawag dito. Nasaan ba yung... Ayun. Sorry. Ayan. So, welcome everyone to the podcast. And thank you again for accepting my invitation. Very short notice. Pero yun, thank you that you made time. Um, so to anyone watching in Facebook and YouTube, kindly share the live episode para mas marami tayong ma-reach. Uh, marami rin tayong mabigyan ng perspective. All right, so we're gonna discuss taking the transitional doctor of physical therapy while in the Philippines. Okay, so before that, I'll have our guests introduce themselves. Um, siguro, who you are, what you do now, and what university you took your DPT. All right, so let's start with Mom Charm.
Hi guys, good morning again. This is Charmaine Geronimo, a licensed PT here in the Philippines and in the state of New York. I have been practicing as a physical therapist since 2013. As a clinician, I worked 5 years in Lorenzo Sports Clinic and currently a part-time clinician in a Singaporean outpatient clinic in Makati. I also worked as an internship coordinator, team physical therapist of different sports teams, strength coach of a collegiate volleyball team, and now I work primarily as a home healthcare PT and as a CPD provider here in the Philippines.
All right, thank you, Mom Charm. All right, Sir Jay.
I'm Jay Enriquez. Uh, I've been working as a physical therapist since 2012. First, I started working as a physical therapist in UST, handling acute cases, pre and post surgical cases, and then after that, 2013, I started working with a basketball team until today, and then I'm also handling private clients. I finished my doctorate degree in Utica University. Ngayon, university na siya before Utica College eh. So, yun lang.
All right. Okay, thank you, Sir Jay and Liz. Hi,
Call me
sorry.
Liz.
Yeah,
Ay,
there. Sorry, yeah.
hi. I am Lizelle Matias Soriano, but you can call me Liz. So I graduated in UST in 2019, and then I took the local boards at the same year, August 2019. Then after a month, I started working as PT in St. Luke's QC until February 2020. And then after that, I enrolled in DPT and University of Montana while working in RMR Clinic and taking home patients.
All
Yes,
right.
that's all.
Okay. And congratulations, kaka-graduate mo lang, di ba? Sabay tayo.
Thank you.
Ayun. All right. Okay, so first question para sa inyong lahat. Um, why did you decide to pursue the transitional doctor of physical therapy while in the Philippines? All right. Anyone can go first.
I think I got my US license last 2017. And it was also the year 2017 when they adopted the new CWT coursework tool 6, wherein US requires physical therapists to have at least a master's or a doctorate degree in physical therapy. So yun nga, di ba, after the review, the examination in 2016, 2017, bigla nagkaroon ng new requirement. So, yun yung isa sa mga naging reason bakit ako nag-take ng PDPD. I got mine pala in Arcadia University and I was able to finish it last 2019. And then, initially, plan ko talaga mag-DPT. Siyempre, sino pa naman yung ayaw magkaroon ng doctoral degree in physical therapy. So, originally, my plan was to take it sa US na. Kasi with the tuition fee, I thought na kakayanin ko lang magkaroon ng DPT degree kapag nag-work na ako sa US. But with the new requirement, I was actually obliged to get it here in the Philippines or while I am in the Philippines.
So parang medyo forced, no? Tama ba?
Yes, napaaga.
Napaaga kasi requirement. Alright. Ma'am Liz?
So well, back in college pa lang po, I already decided to pursue DPT after graduating bachelor's in because I know na I still have a lot of things to improve on, and I want to strive for excellence in my field, not only for myself, but most especially for my patients or clients. So I've been really motivated to pursue further studies, especially while I'm young, since my momentum pa to study.
Right.
But I was undecided before which university would I choose. So while I was working in St. Luke's, my uncle, who is a rehab doctor there, introduced me to a PT who's working in US and just came back here in the Philippines for a vacation. So she is an alumna of University of Montana and she encouraged me to enroll there. So she stated a lot of pros, like the program being time flexible, tolerable academic load while working, and then after that, I further researched about University of Montana. And the major factor that pushed me to consider it is that hindi required to be a licensed PT in US, which is perfect for me since I haven't taken NPTE yet. Then COVID happened, making it extra difficult for me to take NPTE. That's why finishing DPT while working here in the Philippines was probably the most productive thing that I did during the pandemic.
Alright. So someone convinced you to take it?
Yes, an alumna of a University of Montana.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sir Jay?
Yeah, actually same kami ni Charm kasi nag-take ako ng exam and then August 'yun, I remember it. Then nung September, naka-receive ako ng email na nag-change nga yung requirements sa for to be able to go to the US. So doon nag-start ako magtingin and then nung una hindi ko pa pinush yung sarili ko mag DPT kasi nagtitingin pa ako ng ibang options para makapunta sa US. Pero eventually, kailangan nga talaga. So, I asked my friends kung ano yung okay na school kasi syempre hindi ko siya ma-check. Wala akong idea kung which school is yung talagang sabi mong legit na mag-offer ng course na online to get the transitional DPT course. So, I asked my friends. So, may isa nakapag-take na sa Utica. So, sabi niya, legit to, ganyan. So, I think patapos na siya nun eh. So, eventually, nag-check din ako ng ibang schools and stuff. Sabi ko, actually maraming school din, pero yung difference sa tuition, parang malaki yung difference eh. Eh, syempre, takot ako. Sabi ko, bakit ito sobrang laki ng difference? Mas mura to, ito mas mahal. Hindi kaya mas legit to. So, wala kang idea. Nung time na yun, wala akong idea. So, dahil doon na rin yung friend ko, doon na siya nag-take. So, nag-enroll na rin sa Utica. So, natapos ko siya around October 2018, ganun. Yun lang yung, bale, na-force lang ako to take it kasi requirement siya sa US. So, it's not really planned kasi iba yung plan ko pag nasa US eh. I mean, hindi siya yung course na gusto kong kunin sa US. Kaya lang requirement siya right now. So, I have to take it.
Gotcha. Then, itong sa Utica, you took it, you contacted Utica straight, hindi siya through, kasi diba Utica has a partnership with FINMA school ngayon.
Hindi ako familiar dyan, sir. Bale, nag-email ako sa Utica and then doon, hinanap nila yung requirements mo and stuff. So, and then madaling application sa kanila actually. And then yung payment method nila sobrang madali lang din. So, as long as may credit card ka, so
Okay.
pwede siya. Kaya naman.
Yun naman I guess yun yung maganda with tawag to, with the universities. It's all online kaya very convenient yung tawag ito pag apply, pag contact and stuff like that. So, um, pag-usapan naman natin kung kamusta naman yung program from each university. So, let's talk about academic load and demand. Siguro how many years or semester, tsaka syempre tuition na rin, no? Yes, simulan natin kay Charm.
So yun nga, Arcadia University. So at first, nag-research din ako about schools in the US. And syempre, if you were like studying since 2016, para mag-review and then you took the board exam 2017, parang ang gusto mo kagad is makapunta kasi parang you're expecting yourself to be there like 2017 or 2018. So, nag-research ako kung ano yung program na nag-offer ng like faster way. Parang inisip ko na, hindi ko na inisip gano'n yung tuition. Ano ba yung pinakamabilis ako na makaka-graduate? So, yung pwede mong yung
Yes.
fast track.
Mm.
So, yun, nag-research ako and then yung Arcadia, nag-offer nga sila na pwede mong, kung kaya, pwede mong i-overload yung subjects mo up to 3 maximum. And then, you can finish the program 1 to 3 years. So, from 1 year to 3 years. And then, 14 months, natapos ko yung tDPT ko. Kaso nga lang, nagkaroon ng pandemic. So, sana pala hindi na ako nagmadali. Joke lang. Pero yun nga, for the tuition, I think ni-research ko kasi nagkaroon na sila ng price increase. So current rate niya is 1,955 plus 200%. So a total of 12,930 US dollars for the whole program. So around 650,000 pesos for the whole program. And if you're, syempre nag-research na ako kung ano yung okay na university. So nag-search ako ng mga top US physical therapy schools. So yung Arcadia is maganda yung ranking niya. So currently nasa top 7 siya. So yun yung nag-motivate din sa akin to take the program sa Arcadia. And also I have friends who also took the program in Arcadia University.
Mhm. Okay. So yung tawag dito, ah, yung pag-contact mo sa Arcadia, it's by yourself din?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Tapos kung yung may mga friends ako na currently din, during that time na nag-ask ako kung ano yung mga yung subjects nga, yung requirements. And I
Mhm.
think yung nagpa-convince talaga sa akin is kung nakaya kong i-overload yung subjects. Kasi sa ibang universities, hindi. Parang usually 3 years. And for me, parang tagal-tagal ng 3 years. And
Mhm.
then, um, I think before, they are requiring PTs na dapat US license. Pero, nag-research din ako starting 2019, hindi na sila nag-require ng US license. So, kahit mga yung planning to take pa lang,
Mhm.
pwedeng mag-enroll sa Arcadia.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, yung I don't know if hindi ako sure kung ngayon requirement na rin sa NPTE yung DPT. Tama ba? Not really sure.
Um, Siguro sa kung kailangan kasi sa NPTE, kailangan mo ng type 1 FCCPT kung yun
Oo.
yung kailangan mo for the exam, for the credential. It's either ECR, di ba, or yung type 1
Type
certificate. Pag
1.
type 1 certificate, kailangan mo ng master's or doctorate degree. Pero pag ECR yata, hindi naman need. Pero sa Arcadia pala, kailangan required sila one of the requirements is yung TOEFL.
Mm.
Hindi ko lang alam sa ibang schools.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll hear about them later. Okay, so that's nice. Yung na pwedeng i-overload yung
Mm-mm.
i-overload sa Arcadia. Kasi
Yes.
for us in Montana, tawag dito, may set sila. Though mayroon naman kami accelerated tawag dito, program na you can do fast track. Okay, so speaking of Montana, Liz, how's the program in Montana?
So, University of Montana actually collaborates with Rehab Essentials and FEU to bring the tDPT program here to Philippine-based students. So, since they are aware that there's a discrepancy in cost of living and salaries in the PT profession internationally, they provide access to affordable pathway for PTs residing here in the Philippines. Kaya in terms of tuition, I could say na it's really budget friendly since the university offers a discounted rate for us PTs living here in the Philippines. I'm not sure of the exact discounted tuition since I didn't pay for it, but I'm certain that it's almost half a million lang. And parang I think the difference between the discounted and regular tuition is quite big, around 5,000 something dollars. So, 'di ba, malaking tipid din siya.
Mhm.
And then in terms of academic load, DPT consists of 30 credits, and you have two options. Yun yung na-mention mo, Sir Johan. Either the traditional track or the accelerated track. So for the traditional track, it comprises of 7 semesters and you can finish it in 2 years. And the workload per sem has an average of 3 graded items. While for the accelerated track, I think kinuha ko, it comprises of 5 semesters and you can finish it in over a year lang. And the workload per sem has an average of around 7 graded items. So mas siksik siya.
Mhm.
And then sabi nila, accelerated track is recommended for those who are not working, while traditional one is recommended for those who are working. But it actually really depends on how you manage your time and how much sacrifice are you willing to give.
Mhm.
That's
So, yeah, self-paced din siya, no?
yes.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I think for US, the total program ng University of Montana Rehab Essentials is
Oh
twelve
yeah, yeah.
thousand dollars. So
600,000.
tapos yung tama, I think the discounted for the Philippines is $7,000 lang. Tama ba? Parang
Yeah,
ganun.
it's almost 400 to 500,000 lang.
So,
Laki
ang
ng
laking discount.
yeah, laki.
Ang laking discount like for that. Dinala siya by with the assistance and help of our friends Maria Conci Aguila and Ben Aguila to FEU para mas reachable sa
Yeah.
mga colleagues natin sa Philippines. All right, Sir Jay, how's the load and tuition in Utica University?
Yung tuition niya, hindi ko na maalala eh, pero nasa 18,000 USD ata dati eh. I think,
Mm-hmm.
hindi ko na maalala. Pero ngayon, chinek yung website nila, around 14 to 14,130 to 14,115.
Mm-hmm.
So, ang okay naman dito, yung payment plan ko before was monthly lang siya magbabayad eh. So, credit card, then monthly siya. I remember na yung unang months nun, while you're starting, parang $1,200, $1,300 monthly yon. Then, pag malapit ka na sa dulo, yung patapos mo na yung course, nagiging $800 na lang siya, mas bumababa na. So, yun yung naging parang, nung naghahanap kasi ako talaga, wala akong idea kahit anong school.
Mm-hmm.
Wala akong alam. So, syempre, yung friend ko, so, siya nagsabi, then, chinek ko yung payment terms, pumayag naman sila na merong ganun, na monthly payments, kasi, hindi ko kayang mag-cash out ng sobrang laking pera to pay for it. So, pagdating noon, sabi, uy, okay to. So, monthly payment siya. Yun lang. And then, yung sa amin naman, nag-start ako summer 2017. Then, tinitignan ko tong, actually, hindi ko na maalala eh. So, kinuha ko yung transcript ko. Natapos ako summer 2018.
Uh-huh.
Tapos, binabasa ko tayo, parang less yung units ko ata compared sa sa kanila ma'am. Kasi sa akin, after ko mag-take nito, I think kumuha pa ako ng extra credits dun sa isang institution dito sa Manila kasi kailangan siya for type 1 certificate kasi kulang yung total credits ko eh from UST, then 'di ba binago na yun eh ni Ma'am Che dati, parang binago na niya yun.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos yung DPT mo, tapos kulang lang ako ng onting subjects lang, 3 ilang units
Talaga?
lang kulang ko
Even
just
with
to
the
meet the
DPT, kulang
requirement.
pa rin?
Yes, kasi parang narinig ko ilan yung units ni Ma'am sa Arcadia, ay sa Montana. Ilan yung units niya, parang end? Parang sa
30 something?
30 plus?
Uh-huh.
30. Parang dito, ilan lang yung subjects ko eh, parang 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 subjects lang. Ang kasama na yung capstone ko doon. So,
1, 2,
sa
3,
sa
6.
akin personally, madali siya eh. Kasi yung subjects niya parang as long as you meet all the requirements, sobrang dali lang. Kumbaga researches lang. Basta
Mhm,
na-meet mo yung number of researches na kailangan niya, na-meet mo
mhm.
yung deadline, okay siya. Pasado ka. I mean, hindi ka kakabahan baka bagsak ka or something. Wala pa naman akong kilalang bumagsak sa transitional course ever. Pero yun nga, I mean, for me it's easy lang kasi meron na siyang kumbaga may outline ka na kung anong dapat mong sundin at ano yung requirement ng professor mo for that. So,
Mhm.
ang dali na siya eh. Ang mahirap lang doon yung payment kasi
Oo,
dollar siya tapos ang kita mo peso. Medyo mabigat siya. Yun lang
totoo.
yung mahirap doon.
That's true, that's true.
Yes, I
So,
agree.
mga consideration nyo was kung pwede nyo i-overload, then requirements, kung tawag ito, kung ano yung demand ng workload, and of course tuition fee as well. Tama ba? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And how fast you can finish that. Yun ang mga kailangan i-consider din eh, no? If you're gonna take your transitional DPT while in the Philippines. Given that, siguro if our colleagues already, considered all of that, in your experience and after, getting your degrees of Doctor of Physical Therapy, how do you think that benefited you or impacted you in your, practice there in the Philippines, considering that some of the, I think, well, for you Mon, I don't know if even in the Philippines yung meron ding Medicare class din ba sa inyo, Liz?
Sorry, medical.
May Medicare class din ba kayo sa,
Not. Oh, is that the coding and reimbursement?
yeah, coding?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Meron din. So yun. So in terms of, applicability, how was that, did that translate to some of your, clinical decision making, clinical practice in, your degree as a doctor of physical therapy? Yeah. Whoever wants to start.
For me, yes, it helps. Kasi
Mhm.
actually, yung DPT, magandang kunin mo siya. I think if you're already working, if you're a clinician, since yung DPT, it's more for clinic. It's not an academic type na parang PhD or yung master's degree here. Hindi siya yung equivalent to that. So, it's more for clinicians. So, if you're already working as a clinician, yung comprehension mo when it comes to the subject, it's easier. Tapos yung translation din ng subject into practice is easier. Like for example, yung clinical decision making, yung mga clinical practice guidelines. So, ang dami naming sources na nakukuha doon. And yung diagnostic imaging, since it's a whole class, it's not just it's more it's usually 6 to 8 weeks yung per sem, di ba? So
Mhm.
it's more than a month of study. So it's really helpful, especially if you're practicing in an orthopedic outpatient facility. And and if you're planning to work in the US, meron doon yung mga yung more of yun nga sa insurance na discuss din nila, and yung type ng healthcare in each country na discuss din. So you will have background of
Mm.
different settings. So for me, clinical decision wise, it can be helpful, but not with the hands-on skill. More of ibang programs and certification. More of yung thinking, it can help you.
Right. Tama, tama. Yun din yung ano eh, one of the answers of APTA, talking about transitional DPT, na it doesn't really add skills, but to some clinical knowledge, just to, yung mga recent updates on our practice and stuff like that.
Yes.
Mhm. So
Yung mga EBP na kasi yung practice natin. So, that's why they make the CWT6 na, diba? So, kailangan
mhm.
doctoral na just backed by research and evidence-based programs.
True. Mas na ano. And I also agree doon sa imaging. Doon ako nahirapan doon sa subject namin ng imaging. Sobrang pinapakita na yung mga dinidiscuss yung films, parang yes, I understand. Pero doon sa exam na parang ano yan?
Pero ang sarap basahin ng book, diba? Kasi new knowledge siya. Hindi mo siya tinuro sa bachelor's.
True. Hindi siya kasi parang our thinking was hindi na natin line yung yung magbasa ng X-ray and stuff and other imaging tools kasi sila na doktor sa bahala doon. Pero you appreciate it if it's taught to you in one whole semester, tapos with different, examples. Parang, actually, gamit nga rin siya sa US dito. Pag tinatanong ako ng mga pasyente ko, did you see my x-ray? Did you see my MRI? Like, I'll take a look at that. I'll take a look at that. Parang akong lagi,
Yes.
okay, kailangan ko talaga tignan. Kasi minsan, um, na-overlook din minsan ng doctors or even the explanation. So, it also lies to us kasi we have more time in dealing with a patient and explaining them what the result of the images are. So, yeah, I agree with that. So, Sir Jay, how did the DPT impact your practice?
Sa akin, parang more of napilitan ako magbasa ng mas maraming mga research papers. Parang ganun. You
Mm-hmm.
get to determine which one is best to read. Parang yung kung clinical based practice ka, mas may option kang mas magbasa ng marami. Tapos hanapin mo yung facts talaga kung alin yung working, alin yung hindi. So, yun yung kumbaga dun, yun yung mas dahil na, nung tinake ko siya, mas napilitan ako magbasa ng mga researches.
Mm-hmm.
Yun pa pala, add ko pala, dun sa kanina kasi yung sabi mo, books and stuff. So kung magte-take kayo ng doctorate pala, yung books, doon ako nahihirapan. Yung ibang books na required ng professors namin, is naghanap pa ako. Buti na lang sa UST, may kabatch akong professor doon na kahiram ako ng libro na pa-xerox ko. Pero yung ibang books kasi, mahirap hanapin. Kumbaga, naghanap ako nung dati, may recto, ganyan, wala. So, yung CRS library meron. So, nakahiram tayo doon. So, isa yung option mo kasi yung ibang professors requirement yung libro. So, kailangan mong basa doon. Yun pala, add lang yun. Pero sa practice ko naman dito sa Philippines kasi, anong na-add sa akin, parang naka-add lang siya ng konting credibility sa'yo. Parang some people will think na kunya pag pinapakilala ka, parang ganyan. So, they will take you more seriously, parang ganun. Pero in practice, yung decision making, nakatulong lang din siya in such a way na mas nadagdagan yung nababasa ko na hindi ko naman na-take before. For example, yung pinag-usapan nyo, yung imaging and stuff. So, napadaanan lang natin dati yan mga ortho, parang ito, bali ito, parang
Right.
ganyan. Dislocated to, ganyan. Pero hindi ka masyadong familiar para tumingin. So at least nung sa DPT, medyo kumbaga isang buong ano din 'yun. Two subjects din 'yun. So for me so tas 'yun. Next kong kinuha diyan is yung naturuan ko yung pharmacy din. So may na-take na tayo before pero I mean mas kumbaga mas na-enhance pa yung knowledge ko about it. So more of enhancement lang nung current knowledge natin yung nakuha ko dun sa nung nag-doctorate ako. Tas kumbaga mas nasanay ka na mag-appraise ng researches. Yun yung medyo mas nasanay. Kasi nung college ako, honestly, yung appraisal ng researches, hindi ko masyadong mabusisi. Pero nung sa doctorate, mas mabusisi ka Kasi requirement siya Part siya na i-grade sa'yo. So, kailangan tama yung ilalagay mo research doon. So, doon ako mas nasanay nung nag-take ako ng doctorate.
Right. So, may matawag sa so more like enhancement of what you know. Sorry. Ayun. So, enhancement of what you know. I also agree with that kasi with one of our subjects about clinical decision making or something like that, parang if dinisect yung parang CPG nga and ito yung gagawin mo when you meet this and that. So parang that wasn't really part of how I understood it before. Pero hearing it from someone else and parang, yeah, it reviewed me, enhanced what I know, and gave me an option on what to do pag nakamit ako ng mga ganung pasyente. Gotcha. All right. Ma'am Liz?
So in my experience, diba, I took the accelerated track while working. So since it is self-paced, I can view the online program across any platform like phone, laptop, iPad, etc. So my study time is really flexible to accommodate work and my personal life. And I think that is one of the benefits. However, the last semester, which is the capstone project, was really challenging for me to the point na I almost dropped out. So I filed for leave ASAP para mas makafocus ako. And I think worth it naman since nag-aapang ko yung last sem. Shout out to Sir Ken Segon, Doc Consi Aguila, Doc Christine Gapos, who all guided me in my paper. And almost half in our cohort failed in the last sem. So I think mahirap talaga siya and kailangan siyang seryosohin. Kasi for the first sems, medyo chill kasi yung DPT eh. Pero the last sem, the capstone yun, mahirap talaga siya. So wait, going back, taking DPT program is for me beneficial kasi it can add credentials to you or tapos, it can help you be more equipped, knowledgeable, and more confident in our line of work. And I think it has also impacted me by being humble. Now, I don't know everything, kaya I should be open to changes or new knowledge, such as current evidence-based practice or other studies in which I can apply in my current practice.
Mhm. Gotcha. So you gained some new insights and lessons from the the DPT.
Yeah.
Mhm. Gotcha.
And
Um,
add ko lang Johan, yung ano
sure.
pala, yung sa, di ba sa pharmacology, yung book
Uh,
na ginagamit natin sa Philippines, si Siko, di ba? Siya yung professor usually sa States, like I'm sa Arcadia and I think sa other universities din. Diba,
mhm.
yung mismong author ng books natin here, siya yung professor ng sa States. So I think
Icon,
okay siya
right?
for me. Yeah,
Oo.
si Siko. Tapos okay din yung discussion niya, ang ganda nga nung sa pharmacology. Like,
Parang
mas
professor din
na-intindihan ko
ata
siya.
namin siya.
Yun nga, I think mostly siya.
Oo. Sa sa Jeria ata, siya rin ata gumawa ng book nun.
Hmm.
Parang nakakatuwa din, no?
Di ba?
Having those professors, yung talagang name nila yung nakasulat dun sa mga libro. Tapos sila yung magtuturo sa'yo.
Yes.
Nakakatawa. And what I really, well, it also applies here in the US kasi yung about laws, yung tawag dito, yung how to document properly, how to protect yourself, yung mga natututunan din sa ano eh, sa tDPT. Uh, and how to be really, meticulous on how you write it. And kasi dito very litigious. So documentation is very important. So na appreciate ko rin siya sa DPT while they're teaching it. Okay. So we're about to, finish our time here. Pero for tawag dito, for colleagues who would ask you, kasi syempre the doctor of physical therapy is not recognized by CHED or in the Philippines, di ba? For colleagues or friends that would ask you, is it worth taking now while you're still in the Philippines? How would you answer that? And probably siguro, how would you convince them? Siguro, parang ganon. Or at least sway them in taking it.
Ako ba yung mag-start? Or may meron gusto mag-start? For me, ano,
Like
any
taking time.
additional, kahit man hindi siya accredited ng SHED, I think any additional learning, for me, it's beneficial. It doesn't necessarily na ba, kailangan ko bang kumuha ng courses na dapat SHED accredited lang. No? Kasi kahit naman yung ibang professions, like even yung mga lawyer or other professionals, they go outside the country to study eh. And hindi naman nila check yung kailangan ba accredited sa ganito. And also, yun nga, as a service provider, our profession gives you nga service. So how will you make your credential looks better? Of course, it is through continuing education, through your experience. So, ano yung magiging differences mo compared with other PDs? And I think that is yun nga, through these courses. And I think worth it naman siya. Not because na parang yun nga, doctorate program. I think it's because na you work hard for it. 'Di ba? Yung journey to have that degree, yung perseverance mo, yung tuition fee mo. Kaya I think it's really worth it. Kasi pinaghirapan mo yun. Hindi naman siya yung tipo na binigay lang sa'yo, nag-aral ka while working. 'Di ba? Kasi yung DPT kasi it's not usually for mga working ano nga siya clinicians, 'di ba? So, yung journey na habang nag-work ka, nag-aaral ka, tapos isipin mo pa yung pambayad. I think that makes that makes the diploma worth it. So, I think that's my stance.
Mhm. That's true. I do agree. May certain sense
Yes.
of may certain sense of pride when you finish it. No, it's still a degree. You earned it
Yes.
by hard work. You
Tsaka
studied.
bakit gano'n, 'di ba, yung iba namang professionals when they go outside and then they have their diplomas, parang proud sila, kinuha nila yun outside the country or kahit sige nakakuha ka man lang ng diploma there, dapat maging proud ka kahit saan mo man yan kung kinuha kasi additional degree yan for you.
Mhm. Exactly. That, I could. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. See, Ma'am Liz.
Um, for me, yes, it is definitely worth taking. Because of my DPT journey, I'm now able to utilize evidence-based practice, and I am looking at the patient as a whole rather than focusing only in specific or certain aspect. For example, this is my project. This is my topic from my capstone project, which is like investigating the psychosocial aspect of a patient with chronic low back pain, since this may be one of the contributing factors to the low back pain aside from physiological factor. So before, prior taking DPT, hindi ako ganun mag-isip, but because after taking the DPT, I think that I have a more advanced critical thinking, professional knowledge, behavior to become a better health professional. And I think, given the discounted tuition for PTs residing here, this is an opportunity that we should grab. And I think that one of the most fulfilling part after juggling study, life, and work is finally getting yung title Doctor of Physical Therapy or DPT at the end of our name. That's why I think DPT is truly a great investment that we should take.
Mhm. Yeah. I do also agree with that kasi you appreciate more once not to hindi man sa yung parang hindi naman sa inaan natin sabi natin yung natutunan natin sa bachelor's but learn yung hearing more on it with the transitional DPT parang it really makes you appreciate and open your eyes on the current practice and what we're learned before and what we're learning in the DPT.
Mas na-discuss kasi siya in-depth eh. So,
Mhm.
more understanding about it.
Mhm. Right. And Sir Jay?
Yun. For me, worth it naman siya. Kasi aside from requirements siya, I mean, worth it siya kasi parang yung experience mo throughout the whole course and then yung, kumbaga, there are things na hindi tayo familiar eh, na hindi natin for me, hindi ko alam. Parang kahit nung natapos natin yung bachelor's degree, there are things na hindi natin alam kung paano yung practice sa US. So it's like preparing you na mag-practice sa US. Yung ibang, kasi pag nagbabasa ka ng libro na required sa'yo na basahin mo, nakikita mo doon, ganito pala doon. Ganito pala doon. Hindi ganyan dito. Parang ganyan. So, it gives you parang introduction on what will you do in the US. So, it's okay. And then, yung knowledge din naman well, kailangan mo yun eh. So, whatever knowledge na makuha mo sa course or any seminars na matake mo, it's still knowledge. So, maano ko pa rin na mag-take sila. Pili lang sila kung anong school yung gusto nila. Parang it's up to them na lang kung ano yung gusto nila. Pero for me, tingin ko talaga madali yung sa akin. Kasi nakita ko yung friend ko, parang arcade yata siya eh. Parang mahirap eh. Sa akin nata, ewan ko, kasi ewan ko, madali eh. Parang,
Ang pinakamahirap
I
lang
don't
na
know.
part for me is yung magko-comment ka. Alam mo yun, yung magre-reply ka sa mga classmates mo, yung discussion board.
Yes.
Diba?
Tas,
So,
meron din ba kayo
yung sa
ganun?
mga,
Kami kasi meron yung
oo,
parang video na ganito, tapos kokomentan mo yung video ni ganyan,
oo,
tapos
kailangan
at least
magko-comment ka sa
magko-comment
mga
ka sa
classmates mo.
research paper nito, then
Oo.
magko-comment ka
Saka sa
ulit dito
instructor
na
mo,
may research ka.
graded
So,
siya.
at least may usap-usap din, pero sa tingin ko mas
Yung
madali
network
yung
with
if
other people. Ganun.
ipipili kayo ng school, sa tingin ko madali yung Utica. Promise. Tingin ko. Sa tingin ko kasi I was working full time when I
Mhm.
took my doctorate. Parang I'm handling 2 basketball teams, tas may private ka pa kasi syempre kailangan mo bayaran yung tuition mo. So kaya. So pero
Sa UT ka
nakita ko
ba?
yung sa friend ko, parang
Sa UT
nahirapan
ka ba
siya.
yung every week kailangan meron kang sinasubmit?
Yes. Yes, parang 3 p.m. 3 p.m. dito, parang ganun.
Every week
So
yun?
kaibigan ko yung time, ano yung daily time, parang ganun. Yung move lang siya ng 3 p.m. kasi usually 1 p.m. ng Philippine time yung passing namin eh. And
Uh,
then pag may daily savings,
Daylight
mamove siya
savings.
ng 3 p.m. So, kaibigan ko yun.
Oh. Well,
Mga ganun. Tapos after 3 to 4 weeks, may ipapasa ulit na longer.
ah,
Parang weekly may pinapasa ka. Tapos parang after 4 weeks, may pinapasa ka mas mahabang paper pa.
ah,
Pero as long as you meet the requirements, may papasa mo siya. So,
I
for
think,
me talaga, pag kunyari sa mga nanonood, kung
ah,
pipili kayo, madali siya. Kasi,
Ganun pala.
yung Utica, madali. Sa tingin ko yung sa friend ko,
ah,
nung nakita ko kasi may mga quizzes pa siya eh.
ah,
Parang ako wala akong ganun. May multiple choice quizzes
Oo, may
pa kayo, diba?
quizzes. Oo.
Oh, see? Madali sa Utica, guys. Guys, Utica
Hindi, actually,
University
madali
tayo.
lang naman talaga yung DPT. Yun naman yun lang pala yun. Kaya mo
Magaling
kung
kung
sabihin
aralin
yung,
mo
pero yung
talaga siya.
requirements lang. Oh, yung
Ah,
Yes,
requirements lang
as long
kailangan
as
mo
you
ipasa.
meet the requirements, nothing more, nothing less, pasado
Oo.
ka. Ganun siya eh.
Kasi ano
Parang,
naman eh, hindi siya yung like sa Philippines kasi masyadong critical, masyadong technical. Dito independent ka. Sige, merong synchronous class, makinig ka or kung di ka makinig, magbasa ka as long as makakasagot ka sa quiz and then sasagutan mo yung discussion board and then
mhm.
makakapag-submit ka ng projects and then it will be graded. Hindi siya yung namimilit na parang okay, umattend ka, kailangan full ka yung video, naka-video ka. Hindi,
Oh.
pwede kang off ng video during classes eh. It's up to you if you listen or if you're working while listening. Pero syempre, kailangan nga basahin mo yung resources.
Aha.
Yun lang dito, ang maganda
yes.
lang dito, parang we are independent, parang we are treated as professional na parang hindi students na parang kailangan ganito, ganito, ganito.
Oo.
So we
Nasa
have
iyo
more
talaga, nasa iyo
freedom.
talaga kung gusto mo talagang pumasa at matuto.
Mm.
Yun talaga yun eh. Ma'am Liz, yung humon. Well, yung
Yung
humon
mahirap daw
kasi,
sa Montana, mahirap daw sa Montana.
hindi,
Yung capstone,
hindi, sa amin self-paced eh, di ba?
sabi ni Liz.
Ma'am Liz, ano? Protect.
Ano gagawin? Like, ang hirap yung capstone, pero siya the first four sem, or the first sem. And I think, advantage din na maraming credits.
Ah,
Kasi di ba parang you're gonna take DPT to fill in some of the gaps na from the bachelor. So I think magdi-DPT ka lang, hindi kunin mo na yung maraming credits. That's my point.
ah,
Pero
nakakapagod
nag-require ba
na
sila sa inyo ng courses from PRI? Like other courses na wala sa Montana? Meron pa rin kayong tinake sa
Sa type
PRI?
1 certificate ko, parang yun yung choice ko eh. Sa akin, yun yung choice ko. Wala na iba eh.
Kasi yun na, DPT sa akin, plus I think one subject or two subjects sa PRI for the time.
Was that before
Meron
or
din ako, isa.
Kasi kahit marami kang units, tinitignan din nila yung subjects.
Mhm.
Eh, meron tayong subjects like yung cultural competency, yun. Kaya minsan sa PRI na siya required. Yun, kaya mong makuha na certificate in one day. Diba, Sir Jay? Sa PRI.
Yes. Yes, I took parang 3 subjects din doon. Well, actually nga, yung friend kong nag-Arcadia, nag-take din siya eh. Mas marami siyang units sa akin. Pero pasok na siya eh. Kumbaga yung limit, yung parang pinaka-limit ng ano. Lagpas na siya eh sa units. Kaya lang kailangan yung subject mismo na yun sa
Oo,
PRI. So,
kailangan sa
he took
specific
it.
sa subject.
So,
So, hindi lang
yung
siya
mga
sa
mag-take
units.
sa PRI pala, kailangan kayo magpunta. Kasi iba yung charge nila pag hindi kayo nagpupunta. Akala nila na sa US na kayo. So, yung charge
Mas
nila
mahal
ng
pa sila
subject,
sa Arcadia.
mas mahal. Oo. Kailangan alam nila na nasa Philippines ka para yung charge nila Filipino rate lang.
May iba pa yan pala. Okay, so I will respect your time. Thank you very much, Dr. Enriquez, Dr. Geronimo, and Dr. Soriano sa time, sa pag-join sa conversation natin about taking the tDPT, Transitional Doctor of Physical Therapy, while in the Philippines. Depending on what your motivation is kung bakit nyo kukunin yung degree na yon, whether it's a requirement, whether you just want to do it just in case you want to go to the US, or just because you want to, be a doctor of physical therapy. It's up to you kasi ikaw pa rin talaga yung magde-decide kung gusto mong tapusin yun eh. Kasi lahat yun effort mo eh. The discussion boards, the quizzes, the projects, and talagang motivation to finish what you've started. Doon talaga yun eh. If mapipilitan ka, parang bakit mo pa kukunin? You really have to set your mind to it. Tama ba? Kung gusto mo talaga
Yes.
siyang kunin. Okay, just siguro as a closing natin, for everyone, siguro not really intended to to do the tDPT, pero um in our practice or in your practice, how do you see our profession being elevated? So paano natin siya paaangatin all together, collectively? Anyone can answer first.
I think collectively we can elevate our profession if each one of us is pursuing, higher education, continuing education, so that other professionals or our patients will trust us more. And I think elevating the practice, it will it takes so much time, like investment. Hindi lang yan hindi lang yung mismong sarili mo yung ina-elevate mo, pati yung whole community mo na din. So as a contribution, try to be the best PT that you can be, and then as you are influencing yourself, you are influencing the whole practice as well. I think that's for me.
All right. Thank you, Ma'am Charm. Anyone else? Oh, who's next? Ayan, natinuro ka na.
Ladies first daw.
I agree with Mom Charm na, yeah, we can elevate our practice by pursuing further studies, and this is one way, which is taking the DPT. And through this, kasi, we would be able to be more patient-centered in like assessing, evaluating, and choosing the best interventions for our patient. So this is really not only for ourselves, but as well as for our future patients and clients. And learning is an ongoing process, kaya you should keep learning in life.
Lifelong learning, sabi nga nila. Ay, wala ka na ituturo.
Sir, so sa akin, how we can elevate our practice. Currently kasi marami na ako nakikitang problems right now. Kasi 'di ba nasa sports field ako. So honestly, kailangan lang nung mga PTs ngayon, lalo na dito, na if you're practicing na hindi ka sa hospital. Kasi sa hospital, they're gonna give you exercises that you have to do. Yung ibang PTs, they can always blame the medical doctor about kasi yan lang yung program na binigay eh. Or yan lang yung required eh. Pero if you're practicing on your own, if you're handling a team, if you're handling your private patients, dapat be more knowledgeable. Kasi nawawala. Na-experience ko na ngayon, marami na ako na-experience ngayon na nawawalan na sila ng tiwala sa PT kasi hindi sila gumagaling. So, another masasabi ko sa inyo is parang learn to parang i-refer mo na lang yung patient pag hindi na gumagaling sa'yo. Kasi naisip ko mawawalan talaga yung trust sa'yo yung mga tao. Kasi sa field ko ngayon na inaano, maraming teams na ngayon ang hindi kumukuha ng PDs actually kasi they have experience na parang hindi masyadong na-manage yung team nila, players. So ngayon SNC na nagtitreat. So that's a big no-no. Parang ganun na-overlap na yung mga practices natin. Honestly, kailangan kasi pag tinanong mo sila, natatanong ko parang, kasi yung PT namin ganito dati, ito lang ginagawa. So patay. Affected tayo lahat. Kahit gaano ka kaayos on your own, naapektuhan ka nung, people na hindi nagpa-practice ng maayos. So I think you have to study hard or take more courses. I don't know. Be more knowledgeable. Kasi it's not just you eh. You're affecting the practice of other physical therapies. So yun nga, okay na mag-take ng DPT kasi it's gonna add to your credentials. And also, when people talk to you, and usually ganun na yan eh. If they are hesitant to talk to a physical therapist, if you show them your credentials, syempre, makukuha mo agad yung trust nila compared to not having it. Di ba parang ganun yun eh. Kasi right now, I'm battling yung situations namin na parang a lot of teams are not believing on PTs anymore, which is a big problem. Kasi yun nga yung work natin tapos hindi sila naniniwala sa atin. So, nahirapan tayo. So, I think You have to like improve your own practice, parang take more courses, take nyo yung DPT para tumaas yung credentials ninyo. Yun lang, sir.
Surprising yun, very medyo concerning yung narinig natin,
Anong mga
Yes,
ano
sir.
ba yan?
Because
Teams ba yan?
I'm,
Joke
I'm
lang.
I've been practicing sa sports since 2012. So
Oo.
ngayon, yung team na handle ko, parang syempre, pag higher level ka na, parang mas marami ka ng players na nakakausap. Hindi na siya katulad ng high school na makikinig lang sa'yo yung bata. Yung pag mas
Mhm.
mataas na level, like college, mas may isip na sila. So, they tend, syempre, kwentuhan eh. They tend to tell
Mhm.
you na, Coach, dito na ako, ganyan, ganyan. Kasi, ganito, ganyan. Pagaling niya ako, ganyan. Pag malaman.
Ah,
Kasi yung PT ko dati, ganyan, patay ka. Honestly,
mhm.
yung practice mo mawawala. So, dalawa lang yan. Either ma-insulto ka dahil hindi na nagpapatreat sa'yo yung player kasi naniniwala siya doon, or mag-improve ka. So,
Mhm.
it's up to you. Pero it's really affecting on my own. My practice is really affecting my practice kasi yung trust nila nung dumating ako dun sa team na yun, mababa na sa PT.
Tama.
So, paano ka? 'Di ba? So,
Mhm.
papataasin mo yun. So,
Oo.
I've been working on that since. So, pero syempre, yung ibang teams, if you can check, yung ibang teams wala ng PT. So,
Wow.
I wonder why, di ba? I
Mhm.
wonder why. So, you have
Mhm.
to really check on that.
Sa mga ano kasi sa mga PTs kasi 'di ba they want sports sa kala nila parang yun nga maraming PTs na gusto mag-sports pero syempre kailangan niya ng additional training. Yung mga yung sa bachelor's degree it's not enough to practice as sports PT. And as a team PT, ikaw mismo yung nagde-decision about their injuries and then you communicate with the doctor. So you need to learn how to manage it on your own.
Mhm.
So maganda nga
Yes.
yung DPT degree and then additional trainings from strength and conditioning, kumuha kayo and
Mhm.
then mag-read kayo ng books about sports, yung orthopedic PT, and then we need to train and to learn. Kahit saang section ka man, mapunta, mapa-rehab ka man, or sa cardio ka man, you need to study. Hindi enough talaga yung bachelor's knowledge natin pag-graduate. Kailangan mo rin matuto from the other professions like strength and conditioning coach. They are helpful. We need to collaborate with them. Siguro yun, minsan yung nawawala sa dynamic. Minsan nagkakaroon ng differences sa stance ng PT or ng strength coach. Mas maganda kung mas maging collaborative para yung approach sa player, mas magkaroon sila ng understanding. Kasi minsan nangyayari, dumidiretso yung isang coach sa players, tapos syempre nasisiraan yung ganitong, di ba, hindi naiiwasan yung gano'n, nawawalan yung trust. Mas maganda yung communicate with the whole team, with the
Mhm.
doctors, with the coaches, with the players.
Mhm. So added
So,
confidence
mm.
in
And din kailangan talaga mag-aral.
mhm.
Hindi siya yung
Yes.
porket okay, sports PT ako kasi nag-handle na ako ng team. Well, hindi yun gano'n. Di ba may mga gano'n? Pero when you
Yes.
ask about the knowledge regarding sports rehabilitation, unfortunately, malayong-malayo yung management. So,
Ang sports
yeah.
PT, hindi lang siya basta taping, taping,
Yes,
cupping,
yes.
needling, hindi lang
Hindi
ganun
lang
yun.
siya
You
hindi
should
siya
be
gano'n.
able to fix it quickly
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
Strength and
Ganun siya.
conditioning foundation kailangan talaga. Hindi yung
Mhm.
Hindi siya
rehabilitation.
yung 10 reps, 3 sets. Hindi siya pwedeng ganun lang.
Hindi siya
Mahirap yan.
mag-apply doon. Exactly.
Hindi tayo pwedeng ganyan. Kasi you cannot blame the doctor or any other person pag nasa
Yes.
team ka. Dapat may sarili kang credibility. Tapos may
Wow.
season yan. So, that's a big problem. I mean, you
That's a
have to
whole new
focus your
discussion,
sacrifice.
Na-open ng eyes ko sa ganyang issue. Ngayon ko
Na-open.
lang narinig, pero yun nga, if you have that degree or you take specialization and try to further your skills and knowledge, I think that would also help, augment what you're lacking. Kasi basically, we're at the standards when you get out of school. And we take, if you're gonna go to whatever section or whatever specialization, you have to learn more about that. Kasi ano ka na
Yes.
hindi ka dapat mag-rely kung ano lang yung natapos mo. You have to really dig deep dun sa setting mo and gain that confidence to stand on your own, protect your patients, and take care of them as diligently and as excellently as you can.
Yes.
Maganda.
Tama, sir.
Maganda
You
usapan
should
yan.
take extra courses whether may CPD unit siya or wala.
Yes. Basta kung
As
ano yung
long as it
makakatulong
will help
sa'yo.
you, kunin mo. Wag yung may CPD units ba? Mahal ba?
Oo.
Kaya hindi. If you
Yes.
need it, kailangan mo i-take yun.
Mag-invest.
Kasi
Yeah.
kulang ka. Parang ganun siya.
Exactly. All right. Wow. From tDPT to issues in physical therapy practice. Magandang pag-usapan yan next time. Pero again, thank you very much doctors sa ating discussion. Thank you so much Charm for coming back. Third time mo na dito sa PT Meal.
Third time.
And let's also plug the Filipino Physio
Ah,
courses
yes.
na naglabas na kayo
Yun
ng
nga.
mga courses ngayon, di ba?
So, yun nga yung mga programs actually na hindi pa ganun ka-popular or hindi pa ganun wala pa tayo ganun expertise dito. I'm trying to bring it here.
Mhm.
Para syempre, magkaroon ng knowledge more yung PTs natin and also skills with different aspects of physical therapy. So yun nga, please follow the Filipino Physio for more courses. And kahit saang courses pa kayo kumuha, as long as you're continuing your education or learning, it's
Right.
actually a must. Yun nga, we are fortunate nga na maraming tumutulong ngayon sa Philippines na marami nag-offer ng courses. Kasi before we need to parang pumunta pa sa ibang bansa to attend some courses, di ba? And now, ginagawa na siyang mas accessible.
Right.
And yun nga, kailangan critic the courses din. Hindi ko ano yung kailangan na yung mga na-offer. Kailangan magpasa din kayo about the topics, about the speaker, kung yung reliability ba ng courses is good.
Mhm.
Kasi it will pass on reviewers yun and then so more about it.
Right. Yeah. Check out the whatever courses is being offered. Check out also the Filipino Physio website. Meron na silang nilabas ng mga courses doon. I think the latest was lymphedema, tama ba? And wound
Yes, yung
care.
workshops.
Mhm. All right. Thank you, Liz, for being in the show first time. Kahit napa-agree kita sa pag-come dito sa show. And Sir Jay as well, thank you for coming to the show as sharing your concerns na rin na na-open din yung eyes namin kung ano yung mga nakikita mo din dyan. Alright. So, yeah. Asa na ba tayo? Okay. So, thank you everyone who's watching. If you're, interested in replaying mas sa Facebook naman yon, you could follow PT Meal Podcast anywhere, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and stuff. The PTMealPodcast.com, you can visit that as well. So everyone, thank you for watching. And if you have any suggestion sa next natin na mga episodes, just contact me in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. All right. Again, thank you guys.